Hello and welcome to sim.bc. Right now it's 14:30 on the strike, mates. On the clock exactly. That's how we operate, am I right? Even though it's way before the scheduled time for me to record, but that's how I do stuff. I like to be before the time, I like to work, on it way before I need to, right? So that I'm done ahead of time because that's how I chill out, stressing in the early days so that I can chill out in the later days. But anyway, mates, that's not why you're here now, is it? No, because you're here for the latest episode, so to say, of Saturday News Recap. Am I right, people? Am I right? Yes, you are, because this is the show, right? The show where we go through the news items that I think is the most important ones and the most interesting ones over the last week. And not only that, maybe we're taking up some trends, perhaps we will do. And then we will, of course, go into some news that has been relating to me, to the channel, mates, to the channel. And if you're a subscriber and you're coming back here each and every day, then, well, this is kind of news for you as well, mates, because this is kind of a weekly channel update, one can say, one can argue. Anyway, mates, without any further ado, let's get into the beginning of today's little news session. And what am I going to talk about? What is all the fuss about this week? Well, all the fuss so far, and I'm just gonna give you a bit of context here. I'm gonna give you a bit of context. I'm talking about Samsung and Facebook here, and you might be sitting there like, that's kind of interesting. What does those two companies, except that they're multinational corporations that turn over millions and billions of dollars every year, what else do they have in common, really? One is a social media platform, and one is a phone manufacturer and a TV manufacturer and a hardware manufacturer, in a sense. What do they have in common more than, just being big companies overall? Well, I'm gonna tell you, they have influence. And what does influence mean? Well, it basically means that if I'm doing something as a company, many people around me, the stakeholders, right, customers and stuff, are generally going to look at me and say that, well, I want to do the same. Or I want to do, the opposite. But they influence you in some kind of way, saying that, well, our actions is going to affect you in some way. That is kind of what influence is. Really simplified, right? Really simplified. But why am I talking about influence in two big companies in the world? Well, because there is such a thing as cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And it seems to be all the fuss these days. I mean, if you haven't seen them, sometimes they come up on my, when I'm watching YouTube channels and different YouTube videos, and I'm not having ad block on because, supporting them ad revenue. There comes up this idea that, you should invest in Bitcoin, and there comes up lots of different information about different cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency seems to be all the fuss these days now, isn't it? Because it is the new, exciting, stock market that is even more risky, and it changes even more. It's really high risk, really high reward, but yet again, really high risk. So why am I talking about Samsung, Facebook, and Bitcoin all together? What do they have in common? Well, let's just start off by the side of Samsung. Samsung is currently developing, or at least I have gathered the information so far, so yet again, apply source critique to this, right? Gathered information that Samsung is developing a new processor that is supposed to be mining Bitcoin more efficiently than the processor that already exists that does so. And currently there was only one other player on the market, some Taiwanese company, I think, or an Asian company anyway, that is trying to break into the same kind of market, trying to develop a processor for mining Bitcoin. With other words, Samsung is kind of trying to work they're trying to ride the wave, so to say, of the Bitcoin success. Not by investing in Bitcoin necessarily, by investing in the technology that supports Bitcoin. So indirectly, they're actually investing in Bitcoin, you can say. But they're not investing in Bitcoin as the way that they're acquiring them themselves. They're investing in such a way that they will fill the need and cater to the people who are actually mining Bitcoin. Okay, you get what I'm saying here. So, with other words, Samsung is Bitcoin positive in that way, in that manner, because they believe that this is something that's probably going to stick around for the future. Hence, it's worth investing technology into this. It's worth investing money into this new technology that will help the Bitcoin farmers or the Bitcoin miners or whatever the term is to mine further Bitcoin. On the other hand, we have Facebook, who has made this statement, right, that they're going to restrict all ads, restrict all the commercials on Facebook that shows off cryptocurrency. At least that's what I got from it. Don't take that as an absolute certainty, please, mates. Source critique here, right? But as far as I gathered, Facebook is going to try and make the change, making the implementation of trying to force away all the cryptocurrency ads from their site. Why? Well, because they think that it's unreliable. For one, according to the newspaper, right, that I read, they stated that it's unreliable, and that, well, people, it's basically that it's unreliable. Well, there were 15 different nuances of it, but it all boils down to the same aspect, right? The same aspect that they're not reliable. So all of these cryptocurrencies that are out there, they're not reliable because you can invest in them and then the day after they can be gone. And this is not a social investment, or rather this is not an investment in capital that Facebook would like the overall society, they don't want the social trend to be to invest in cryptocurrency, it seems. Hence they're going to try and avoid marketing it on their channel or on their site. One can also argue that maybe they're doing this because they want to get it away from the easy target, so to say. The people who are just looking to make a quick buck, the people who are not reading up on the subject. You know, people like me, for instance, who's just sitting on Facebook, you know, scrolling down, looking at cat videos and what my friends are doing, seeing that they're getting, you know, kids and marry each other, and I'm just sitting here like, I'm talking to my camera in my, you know, bedroom, but whatever, you know, it's all about relativity, right? But people like me shouldn't be watching Bitcoin ads, because that says like invest €5 today and get 5,000 the next month when it increases, because it will. Stuff like that, because maybe people are easily impressionable. They're easy to impress and make an impression on, so with ads and with commercials. So maybe Facebook don't want to expose kind of their key audience to that kind of behavior, to that kind of market as of yet. So they're trying to restrict that in order to, well, I would argue, to make the people who are actually knowing about Bitcoin and knowing about other cryptocurrencies being the ones who invest, and don't drag in the people who are just on Facebook for a social time to in order to like update their general feed and update their social profile and look at their friends, right? See what they're doing, stalking their friends, right? No, but looking up on their friends, checking up on what's happening in the world, and they shouldn't need to be forced with all of this cryptocurrency idea when they're on that social media site. I think that is the underlying assumption, yet again coming down to that it is unreliable in the basis of it all. So we're having Samsung, a huge multinational corporation in the world, who operates which phone I actually owned, and I owned a tablet of them from before, and you know, they have stuff everywhere, right? And they're pro, right? They're pro cryptocurrency. So there are people, big companies, that are backing the technology in order to invest in the future of cryptocurrencies. However, on the other hand, we have equally as big, if not bigger, multinational corporations, Facebook's, which I totally engage in all day, every day, right? I'm there 2-3 times a day, minimum, right? Who is a multinational corporation, who have lots of influence, who have a clear perspective of innovation, and they seem to, what should we say, the Facebook, in my idea, like, or both companies in general, seems to be very pro-innovation. But even Facebook, who's pro-innovation, is saying no at this point in time to cryptocurrency ads, at least on their site, showing a kind of negative twist towards cryptocurrencies because of, well, unreliability. So it's quite interesting to see it, such a since cryptocurrency is the new trend on the market and it has gone up and rose, not everybody is positive to it just because there's lots of money involved. Some people are skeptical to it, some people are positive to it, and well, this specific week we had the Samsung and Facebook making statements about cryptocurrencies who were very different, and I just thought it was really interesting to see that one says, well, maybe it's unreliable, but it's reliably enough so that we can invest money in it and invest, you know, capital, and invest in new technology in order to further the research and further the, what should we say, the aim and the goal of this cryptocurrency. Let's back it, right? Let's back it. Whilst the other ones are saying, well, no, let's get it away from the public, right? Because Bitcoin, in my opinion, right, is all about these social trends. I mean, if you're taking stocks, for instance, and this is not what this video was supposed to be about, but if you take stocks, for instance, that's more about business trends. And those are more, what should we say, they don't happen as often, even if business trends seem to happen all the time, right? And stocks are going up and down and up and down and up and down by the minute, by the second even. It's still about business trends. What is the businesses doing? What are the businesses doing? And sure, the social trends such as the H&M shame thing, that totally, that affects it too. but not in the same way that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency does. In my opinion, right, it's more of a social trend when it comes to cryptocurrencies and more a business trends when it comes to stocks and funds. So therefore, they're also more, financially reliable in that way, in that sense, because they're less finance or business trends that goes around, and they're coming around less frequently as with cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency can rise and fall from 0 to 1 million down to 0 again overnight, because people are making a fuss about it, and then, well, the next day it's forgotten. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that two such big multinational billion-dollar corporations are you saying that, well, we're having very different views. One is positive, one is negative about the future of cryptocurrency overall. But anyway, mates, now to the, well, arguably the more interesting news piece about me. Yes, because we're going to talk about the channel now. And what has happened over the course of the latest Saturday news recap? Well, I have released 2 songs. Instrumental though, yet again, I think that I mentioned it in a video, but it's nothing so frustrating and, well, demeaning as when you think that you're really good at something, and I recorded all the instrumentals in order to make a song, right? And I came to the conclusion that when I recorded the vocals that I'm not good at this. I'm not good at singing. I mean, I'm good at singing in a way, but maybe that just wasn't my day, but oh my days, it really felt bad. Having invested so much time in making instrumentals and then just having the vocals left, and I'm like, this is going to be the easy part, this is the part that I actually know, and then it just all fell apart from there. So I've released 2 instrumental songs, might add vocals to them in the future, but go check them out, gonna leave links to them in the description. But 2 songs, and that was what part of my New Year's resolution as well. I wanted to implement something new, something about music to the channel. Now I've done so too, and I have a 3rd coming up, mates, and maybe a 4th if I depending on how much time I have in the upcoming future, in the recent future, so to say. And the second big news, actually, because we have 2 news pieces, right, for this week, and that is also that sim.bc have a Twitter account. And, well, I've had a Twitter account, well, we had the company, the business, the channel, let's say the channel's had a Twitter account for 1.5 weeks, just to put things into perspective, so 1.5 weeks. This YouTube channel has been around for, well, since August of last year. The channel already have more followers on Twitter than the channel has subscribers on YouTube. And I know, that's all about, you can do the hashtag follow for follow, hashtag like for like, and so on and so forth. Maybe it's a bit easier getting followers on Twitter than it is getting subscribers on YouTube. Maybe that's arguable. I don't know. But it's quite interesting anyway to see that big Swift, and yet again it was kind of like demeaning it again to just see that, well, maybe I'm doing something completely wrong on YouTube, since, the channel isn't growing as fast as a Twitter account did in just 1.5 weeks, and this has taken like 6 months to reach this limit. But, well, we'll see in the future what the future might hold. Hopefully they will interact with each other and be a conjunct effort into actually making something beautiful and great, and they will all prosper based on each other. But yeah, it was just a fun thing. Well, yes, so the company has a Twitter account. It is in the description below, and it has been ever since it was introduced in the mid-season of last week, actually, but it wasn't mentioned in the Saturday news recap of that week because, well, it was the apartment that was all the fuss about. So go there, leave a follow or leave a like on the recent updates of videos, and you will also see the recent updates when I'm uploading a video. If you're not clicking the bell down here, I will show it off on Twitter when I'm doing so. So just so that you can get up to speed with all the latest news and videos, right? Anyway, mates, have a nice one. This was a bit of a rambly one because I'm having a real headache. Sorry, mates. I know I'm full of them excuses, but, what you do. Have a nice one, mates, and I'll see you tomorrow.